Hello, welcome to Estrella Spanish, a culture-based Spanish learning curriculum for all learning levels. I'm Ellie.
I'm Laya.
And today we'll be talking about the Spanish alphabet.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N.
Laya! Why did you say two L's? And why did you pronounce the A so differently?
It's the Spanish alphabet.
Whoa, I didn't know Spanish had a different alphabet than in English. Can you teach it to me?
Of course. The Spanish alphabet is actually really similar to the English alphabet, as you will soon see, because they're both Latin-based languages. Most of the letters in the Spanish alphabet are actually the same as those in the English alphabet on paper, but they're pronounced differently in Spanish. Also, there are 4 additional letters in the Spanish alphabet that don't exist in English. The English letter A is A in Spanish. As opposed to the A sound that this letter makes in English, in Spanish, when used in words, this letter is pronounced A. Here are some examples. And also, please feel free to say these words out loud with me so that you can practice getting a feel for how these letters are pronounced in Spanish as opposed to English. Amigo, avión, agua. The English letter B is pronounced B in Spanish. But when used in words, it has the same pronunciation in Spanish as it does in English. Here are some examples. Bebé, biblioteca, blanco. The English letter C is C in Spanish. In terms of pronunciation in words, this letter sometimes makes a K sound, like the English letter K, but also sometimes makes the S sound, like the English letter S. Some examples include casa and ciudad. This next letter is a letter in the Spanish alphabet that does not exist in the English alphabet, and that is the letter che, or CH. And this letter makes the ch sound, as in the word chomp. Some examples include chico, chocolate, and chisme. The English letter D is de in Spanish. Now, in Spanish, Ds are pronounced softly, often making a th sound, like a TH. In order to make the sound, place your tongue against your upper teeth. Some examples include dedo, dia, and donde. The English letter E is E in Spanish, and it is pronounced in words similarly to the English letter E as in enter. Some examples in Spanish include elefante, escuela, este. The English letter F is F in Spanish, but in words it is pronounced just like the English F. Some examples, fruta, fiesta, famoso. The English letter G is G in Spanish, and it can sometimes be pronounced G like the English G or H like the English H. Some examples, gato, gente. The English letter H is H in Spanish, and it is always silent. For example, hora, hombre, hotel. The English letter I is E in Spanish, and when used in words, it is pronounced E. For example, isla, iglesia, importante. The English letter J is J in Spanish, and it is pronounced like the English H. It makes a H sound, and it is never in Spanish pronounced like the English J as in jug. Some example words, jardín, juego, jueves. The English letter K is K in Spanish, and it is pronounced in words just like the English K. Some examples, karate, kilómetro. The English letter L is L in Spanish, and it is pronounced in words just like the English L. For example, libro, lápiz, luna. This next letter is another letter that exists in the Spanish alphabet but not in the English alphabet, and it is the letter ella, and it's written as 2 L's right next to each other. When used in words, this letter is pronounced like the English Y and makes a Y sound. For example, llama, lluvia, llegar. The English letter M is M in Spanish, and when used in words, it is pronounced just like the English M. Some examples, mamá, mano, música.
The English letter N is N in Spanish. When used in words, it's pronounced just like the English N. Some examples are noche, nada, nariz. This next letter is another special letter that is used in the Spanish alphabet but not in the English alphabet, and it is ñ. It sounds kind of like the ñ in onion. When written, this letter has a little squiggly line on top of the N, which is called a tilde. Some examples are niño, mañana, año. The English letter O is O in Spanish. When used in words, it sounds like O, and it's more rounded in Spanish than in English. Some examples are oso, objeto, otro. The English letter P is P in Spanish, and it's pronounced just like the English letter P. Some examples are pero, papel, pequeño. The English letter Q is Q in Spanish. It's always followed by a U, and it's pronounced que in words. It is not pronounced que like in English. Some examples are queso, quien, quince. The English letter R is R in Spanish. It is pronounced more softly than the English R. Some examples, rosa, caro, amor. This next letter is another special letter that is not in the English alphabet, but it is in the Spanish alphabet, and it is written with two R's right next to each other. It's pronounced like the Spanish R, but it's longer and rolled, like R. Some examples are perro, arroz, error. The English letter S is ese in Spanish, and it's pronounced just like the English S. Some examples, sol, sabor, silla. The English letter T is te in Spanish. When used in words, it's just like the English T, but it's pronounced softer, almost like a TH, th sound. Some examples, tomate, taza, tren. The English letter U is U in Spanish. When used in words, it sounds like the U in food. It is more rounded in Spanish than English. Some examples are uva, uno, último. The English letter V is ve in Spanish, and it is pronounced in words just like the English V. Sometimes it's pronounced like the Spanish B or be sound, but it depends on the region. Some examples are ventana, vaca, vivir. The English letter W is W in Spanish, and it is pronounced just like the English W. An example is Wi-Fi. The English letter X is X in Spanish, and when used in words, it has three uses. The first is like the English X, pronounced X. The second is like the English S, pronounced S. And the final one is like the English H, pronounced H. Some examples are examen, xilófono, Mexico. The English letter Y is Y in Spanish, and when used in words, it's exactly like the English Y. Some examples are yo and ayuda. The English letter Z is zeta in Spanish, and when used in words, it's exactly like the English S, but in some regions of Spain, it's pronounced like TH, the. Some examples are zapato, cabeza, and corazón. Now let's say the whole alphabet all together. A, B, C, Ch, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, E, M, N, Ñ, O, P, Q, R, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, y Z.
Excelente! Now you know the Spanish alphabet and all its unique additions. Practice every day to master the pronunciation and start recognizing these letters in Spanish words. Now, don't forget to like, share, and follow for more fun Spanish lessons. ¡Hasta luego!